Hello, this is Ben Schaffer and welcome to all of Mark Ling's customers. As I promised to Mark, what I am going to try and do within the next 45 to 60 minutes is to show you how you can start selling books on Kindle and making money from that. There's literally zero pitch on this video. It's purely informational for you to learn about Kindle. So sit back, take notes if necessary, and I really hope that you profit and make use of the information which I'm going to give you in this video. Firstly, what is Kindle? Many of you probably know all of this already, but just let me tell you, Amazon is the biggest retailer online. They sell almost everything you could ever want to get your hands on, but their humble beginnings was selling books. Forbes estimates that now they actually sell over 500 million in ebooks a year. So that's not physical books, that's ebooks for Kindle. Morgan Stanley estimates that over 11% of Amazon's revenue is connected to Kindle. So I hope you can see that the Kindle market, the market to publish Kindle books, is absolutely massive. Now, where most people err is that they think Kindle books can only be read on a Kindle. In fact, this is totally wrong. You can read books that you can download from Amazon on almost any device, a smart device, an iPad, an iPhone, an Android phone, any tablet, any Windows tablet. You can even read a Kindle book on your PC or Mac. So the market for Kindle ebooks is absolutely huge. And our aim of internet marketing is to have a small percentage of that market by selling ebooks that can be sold on Amazon. There is a big secret in how to make money with Kindle, and that is to rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. What do I mean by that? To do something once, and once it works, do it again and again and again and again. In fact, it's the perfect model to rinse and repeat, as it is extremely scalable. By scalable, I mean that there is such a large market out there for so many niches that you can carry on doing exactly what you're doing almost forever without ever running out of new customers for you. Let me show you how that works in practice. Let's say, for example, that you publish a book and make $100 a month. Let's be conservative and say that that book costs you $500 a month to create. Later on, I'll actually show you how you can pay far less than that. If you only publish one book, then you will have an income of $100 a month, and anything after the first 5 months will be profit. If you publish 2 books, then you'll have an income of $200 a month, and after 5 months you'll also be earning $200 a month totally passively, without doing anything at all. If you publish 10, 20 or 30 books a month, then you'll be earning $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month, and so on. Can you see the potential and why publishing to Kindle is just so profitable and so popular in the marketplace today? In reality, some books can earn much more than that, some books obviously will earn less than that. But as part of this training, what I'll actually show you later in this video is how you could earn money from your books far beyond the initial sale on Kindle. So stick with me, because in the next half an hour or so I'm going to show you everything that you need to know in order to create your own Kindle business without ever having to write one word. So here we are inside Amazon, and I'm sure you're all familiar with it. Just to let you know that Amazon.com really is the big player here. I find that at least 90% of all my sales of Kindle books come from Amazon.com. So it really is worth concentrating on Amazon.com more than anything else. What I'm going to do is search within the Kindle Store and just click on Go. And this gives basically the best selling books at the moment on Kindle. So let's just click on the first one. It's called Top Secret 21. And it's a romance novel, not that I've read it. It's called Top Secret 21, a Stephanie Plum novel by Janet Ivanovich. And I just want to show you a few things. Firstly, here is the book cover. Now we'll go over this a bit more when we go through the rest of the video, but you really want a book cover which is going to attract people to actually look at the book and ultimately buy it. If we click on the book cover, we can actually read inside the first few pages or chapter Amazon chooses of the book to get a good idea of it. And this will happen with any book you publish on Kindle as well, so be aware of that. The next thing is the price. It's $12.99, and generally you save a lot of money by buying the Kindle book over the hardcover or paperback book. And you can kind of understand why that's the case. It's a lot cheaper to deliver the Kindle book than something which is physically printed. So here's a list of different formats. At the beginning, when you're printing books, when you're publishing books, you'll generally just do it in the Kindle edition because it's just so easy to do. But you can obviously publish it hardcover, paperback, audio, and a few other editions as well. But what you will see is that the Kindle edition at $12.99 is cheaper than any other edition. So let's continue. Here's the book description. This is what you will write about your book. It says the publication date. You can write very much what you want about your book. You can format it as well. It'll also have customers who bought this item also bought. Now this is really, really, really powerful, because what it means is that if someone buys another book and also buys your book and they're similar, your book will appear in this area on their page, and vice versa, of course. You can have editorial reviews, and it also gives the Amazon bestseller rank. So just to explain what this is, on this book, it's the fifth top paid book in the whole of Amazon Kindle. What that means is out of all the books in Amazon Kindle, this one sells the fifth most. And it's also number one in its respective categories as well, which isn't surprising. I mean, number 5 is absolutely incredible. They're selling literally thousands and thousands and thousands of books every single day by being the 5th book. And here you see customer reviews, which you're probably quite familiar with and which Amazon is really known for. Now there's literally hundreds of reviews on this. It's more about the author underneath, and she actually has her own page. Any author can have their own page. And with this particular book, because it's so popular, it has shared notes and highlights and forums as well. But it's reasonably unlikely, especially when you start, you'll get lots of those. What you really, really want to do is to get as many reviews as you can. Now she has 380 customer reviews. Just to give you an idea, it's very much a two-way thing. The more reviews that you have, or the more positive reviews that you have, the more sales that you make. The more sales that you make, the more reviews that you have. So you need to try and make sure whenever you're publishing a book that you do get reviews on it. Okay, let's go on to the next stage. Now you know a bit about Kindle and what it involves. You'll see this is number 5 paid in the Kindle Store. Let's see the top 100 paid in the Kindle Store. So there's the book we just looked at, and what you'll see is that amongst the top 100 paid books, the vast majority of them will be fiction books. Now, fiction books just sell many more than non-fiction books. However, because the market is just so large, there's also a massive market for non-fiction books as well. And the vast majority of what I do is non-fiction. So do bear that in mind, that even if you don't know how to write a story, you can't write a story, and you don't know how to get someone else to write a story, a fiction book for you, you can definitely make a lot of money, and that's what I'm doing with non-fiction as well. So here's an example of a non-fiction book. It's called Ask More, Get More, How to Earn More, Save More and Live More, just by asking. So this looks something like it would fit into self-help or personal development, and obviously it's got a lot of really good reviews. So he's making a lot of money with this as well, and we can actually see on the previous page how long We can't see it here, but often it will tell you how long this has been in the top 100 for. And it may say it here somewhere, but I can't see it at the moment. So he's got a lot of reviews. He's got an author page as well, and he's even got some discussions on the forums. Okay, so hopefully by now you know that you can make money by selling books on Amazon Kindle. Now, one of the most important things will be what you create a book about. And at this point, notice I said create a book about, because you're actually going to be the publisher. You may want to write it as well, but I've never written a book, I don't think, that I've published on Kindle. I personally get other people to write for me. Now, if you can write yourself, that's absolutely great. If you can't write yourself, just don't worry, because I can't really write a book myself, but yet I'm making a lot of money on Kindle by selling ebooks every single day. What is important, as I said, is you need to find something which people will be buying. Now, there's a lot of ways which you can do this, and there's even pieces of software out there, one of which I sell myself, which will help you to find a niche that people are buying. The main things that you need to look out for when you're trying to find something to write about is something which has a big enough audience so that people are buying that niche, something which kind of converts well to selling a downloadable ebook about, something which perhaps there isn't too much competition about, and something which you feel comfortable writing about as well. So, for example, I mean, something like self-help, there's just a massive audience. But we also need to look if it's just too competitive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look here. You can see this Amazon bestsellers rank. It's 29 paid in the Kindle Store. And we're going to go right down to the subcategory which this book appears in, which is personal transformation. So let's just take a quick look through it. So I'm just scrolling through it. You can see the top one is 99 cents, then 1.99, then 8.52, then 7.99. I would say that generally, I haven't checked it out on this one, but generally you'll find that when something is 99 cents or $1.99 or even $2.99, there's not a paperback edition. Now in this particular case, there is a paperback edition which is selling for $12. It'll be interesting to know if that's through CreateSpace or not, which it's not. So he's generally got a print edition out there and also selling the Kindle for 99 cents. Now it depends which country you're looking at this from, but they're actually charging me a surcharge, so it says $2.99, but don't worry about that for the moment. It would actually cost 99 cents. So he's selling a lot of these books because he's got an incredible deal where he's selling a $12 book for just 99 cents. He's probably got a big list to do it as well. So let's just look at these: the Gift of Imperfection, the Power of Habit, Why We Do What We Do, To-Do List Makeover. Hopefully you're getting a pretty good idea of what kind of niches these are about. And you need to do some exploring to take a look. And I'm just noticing this, memory tips and tricks. I mean, that's something which would be pretty easy to write about and get written about. So he's got 63 customer reviews. He's 2,299, which is pretty good. So he's making probably around 20 to 30 sales every single day. The problem is that he does have a lot of reviews. So in order to do well in this category, which is ultimately what you want to do, even to be at number 9, you'll have to have 63 reviews. I would say that it's probably far too competitive to actually try and attempt to be in this category. Now you can see here's Tim Ferriss's book at number 11, The 4-Hour Work Week, and he sells loads of these. And there's probably quite a few other books you'll see here which you're familiar about. Now here's a book called The Carpenter, a story about the greatest success strategies of all. I don't know this book, but let's see. He's selling a lot of copies as well. So you can see all of these people are selling a lot of a lot of copies of their book and making a lot of money. But I would say that it's probably too difficult to crack this particular category. Let's just look in something else, stress management. Once again, we're looking here for something which, let's say, almost anybody can write about, or any decent ghostwriter can write about. So 291 reviews, 406, 16, 2,355. That's the Who Moved My Cheese. So these are getting massive amounts of reviews. Now, it's not hard to get 10 or 20 reviews, but to get hundreds of reviews is pretty difficult. It's going to take a lot of work. So it's probably not a great idea to try and kind of conquer a niche where there's people who have just able to do so much better than you. Let's look at motivational. Now, occasionally what you'll see is that there are books which don't have so many reviews, and there's a few of them. Now, that's not a bad sign. If you see a few books in the top 20 or top 10 which don't have that many reviews, then it's possible that you may be able to do well in there as well. Now, here's an interesting one. It's 20 life-changing books box set. So it's been put together by someone in order to sell it on Amazon. It's doing pretty well. I would think, and I don't know this for sure, but I would think they've got a very big publicity campaign in order to make the sales on this. Okay, let's just try and look at another section. So we're going to go into non-fiction. You can see on the left-hand side. Let's go into craft, hobbies, and home. Let's drill down a bit. Garden and horticulture. I actually do a lot of gardening books and make quite a lot of money from gardening, so it's worth finding something here. Let's go Japanese gardens. Okay, so what we can see here in the top 10, this has 8 reviews, 5 reviews, 13, 22, 5, 1, 31. So it's something that we could do pretty well in Japanese gardens. Let's just click on the first one. It's got an Amazon bestsellers rank of 66,000, so it's not selling that many copies in here. So ideally what I'd be looking for is something where it's the top one, or there's a few in the top 10 of between 10 to 20,000 rank on Kindle, because it gives you an idea of how many copies are being sold. Let's just take a look at this. So this is selling not that many either. Let's look at a few, and we'll just choose one for the purposes of this video. God, this has over 1,000 reviews. That's incredible. This is selling about 12,000. Let's see if there's other nice ones. So this doesn't have a review at all. 3 reviews, 262 reviews. So let's take garden and horticulture vegetables as the niche that we want to go into. Now, normally I'll spend a lot more time doing some niche research, but this is really the way that you want to be doing it. You want to find a niche which is popular enough so you can make a lot of sales, not too overrun, and you don't need to get too many reviews. Now, something you have to realize is a very typical price which I publish books on Kindle for is $2.99. Now, I get 70% royalties on that, so approximately $2, just over $2 for every book I sell. So I only need to sell 50 books a month in order to make $100 a month profit. So it's really not that hard to do. And once you've done it once, you'll carry on doing it again and again and again. Okay, let's go into the next stage after research. Now, research is definitely the most important part of finding any book, because you want to make sure that you are going to be making sales. Obviously, this is a fairly short video. I'm showing you everything in like 3/4 of an hour, but usually I would spend the most time doing research, and I would actually use software to do it, which actually just makes it faster to do. And if you want some advice on some software which I advise to do it, then let me know, and I'll be more than happy to advise you on that. So we're going to go for something to do with gardening and horticulture vegetables. So now what we want to do is to have it written. Now if you can write it yourself, that's absolutely great. You want around 10,000 words. So the problem is that if you can't write, then you're going to find it very difficult to write 10,000 words. I also know that it's far cheaper for me to get somebody else to write it than to write it myself. Now I personally have authors on my staff who are churning out these books for me, and you probably don't. If you do them, great, but you probably don't. So what you want to do is to go to one of a number of different websites where you can have them written for you. One which I used to use quite a bit is something called iWriter. So I'll just go there. Once you've logged into iWriter, which is IWRITER, you can click on Get Content. If you don't have money in your account, click on Add Money. And then you need to tell them what you want to have written. So I'd advise that you have an ebook written. Okay, let's say 7,000 words, which is, I'd say, the minimum. Ideally on this you'd want to say at least 12,250 words. All of my ebooks are approximately 10,000 words, so that's what you're looking for. Now for description, let's say gardening and horticulture's vegetables, whatever that means. Let's choose a category. I guess here nothing really stuck out at me, but I've chosen food and drink. Article language, obviously English, although you can get other languages as well. Submit to, and I personally keep it on 4.1 to 5-star writers. You can pay more, but it goes up in price. So for 12,250 words, you'll pay $275. Elite is $370, but I generally find that premium is enough. So let's just stick it at 275. I'm going to, in this particular case, allow writer to make up their own titles for the chapters. You can choose the titles for the writers if you want. Now it just depends how much time I want to spend on this, whether I do or not. But a way to choose the title is literally, the TOC is literally to go to these books and go through their TOC and copy what you think sticks out, and you can do that by looking inside the book. So it's very easy to do. Okay, but for this example, let's just allow writer to make up their own titles. I'll say total chapters 10. Writing style, let's just keep it a friendly tone. Project purpose, I wish to create an ebook and publish it online. Special instructions, I always say, please ensure excellent grammar. And then you simply click on Submit Project. Now I'm actually going to submit this, and we'll see what happens, and if possible I'll let you know how this goes. So let's give it a proper title. So let's say gardening vegetables, or vegetable gardening. Okay. Everything looks fine. Click on Submit Project. It says it's going to take 7 days, and you have 72 hours to review and approve the book. And you are allowed to have revisions on chapters as well. So that's absolutely fine. I'm going to click on OK. And now that's there. And that will get picked up by one person because it's an ebook. And that should be back with me in around 7 days. So that's pretty exciting. Okay, so the next step is creating a title a cover and a description for your book. Now, it's difficult to be able to spend too long on a title within this video, otherwise we could go for literally hours. But the way I do it is to look through all the books, see what stands out, take different parts from different books, which with regards to the subject which you're choosing, and really click around. Another way to do it is to look at magazines in your niche and see what headlines stick out. So let's just do vegetable gardening magazine. You can see I'm doing this totally live. Okay. What you want is to make your title really stick out and make it look interesting. If you think about something like a 4-hour work week or Who Moved the Cheese, which are two that we've looked at in this video, you'll see they've just got great titles, and I'm sure that's what led to their massive success. Now these are pretty boring, to be honest. How to pollinate zucchini by hand. I mean that's not going to get you going. Let's just have a look at this magazine, because generally copywriters on magazines are a lot better than general websites. But even this doesn't look particularly exciting. But that's a way to do it. Is just look at different magazines in your niche and try and look for something which really sticks out, which could be a good title for your niche, but obviously is very relevant to them as well. And you can see there's absolutely loads of different magazines. Now this looks like it could have some good headlines. It's pretty difficult to read because it's quite small even for me. Simple, successful, seed starting, the right way to plant blueberries, cook fresh, 24 recipes for your harvest. None of these look particularly good, but hopefully you do get the idea. Now you've got the title, what you then want to write is your description. And let me just show you where that goes. The description is what goes here. Now this is the bit which is also going to sell your book. As soon as people land on your page, they're going to read this. So you want to make it firstly set out nicely, which this one obviously isn't. It's very difficult to read. You also want to make sure that it draws people in. This is the sales letter. I'm sure you've read plenty of sales letters online. You've probably tried to write some yourself. This is what is going to make a big difference in your sales, whether people buy your book or don't buy your book. And now on to the cover. This is also very, very important. If you do any search on Google or on Amazon even, let's just do vegetable gardening, you'll soon see that certain titles stick out a lot better than others. Now this one immediately sticks out. It's a brand we all know. And one of the reasons is it's very clear. It's got a great title, Vegetable Gardening for Dummies. I mean, what better could you do? Now all of these are reasonably good. This looks a bit unprofessional. This looks quite good, but it's a bit unclear in the small size. This looks very professional. I personally would like to be able to see the text a bit bigger, but it does get over the idea. So really what you should do is look over different covers on Amazon, see what stands out. This one's very simple. And just go through them. It doesn't even have to be in your own niche, but just find something which looks good, which stands out even at a very small size. Now there's so many places you can get your cover done for you. The place where I tend to go a lot of the time, this will probably surprise you, is Fiverr.com. Firstly, because you can get them done very, very quickly. Secondly, because there's a load of different people who will do them on there for $5, so you have a big choice. And the third thing is, it means that you can get more than one cover done. So even if you don't like one of them, you can actually order additional covers, and it's only $5 each. So I've done a search on Fiverr for book cover. It shouldn't take long. You'll find something that you like. Let's just take this one. We want a flat cover, obviously. It looks, I don't particularly like this guy's work. Looks a bit like he's just taken an image and put some writing on it. But if you go through these, you'll definitely find someone who does some pretty good work. Look. And there's loads and loads of different people that can do it for you. It's very easy to find. You're just looking for someone who has some good feedback and you like their stuff. This guy's pretty good. Now what I always do is to get the PSD, that's the Photoshop source file as well, but you can or either not. Make sure you give full instructions on exactly what you want. You can find out on Amazon the dimensions which you want for your book cover, so it's important to give those as well. And you know, a day or two later you'll get a book cover ready to go. You can see it's got 5 stars by 5 buyers, 1 down average. I obviously haven't looked at this in detail, but looks like this guy is pretty good. I would like to see some more of his work as well, but the example which he gave, I think that looks pretty impressive personally. So what I would advise here is to get a few covers done. For $5 it's really cheap. So now let's just go through what you've done. You've done your research, you've had your book written, you've had your cover created, you got a title, you got a description as well. So what's the next step? Well, once you have everything back, then the next step is to upload to Amazon. It really is this easy, and I remember before I did my first book I was kind of a bit scared to do it. I didn't really know what was going on, but it's really not hard to do. You need to open up an account with Kindle Desktop Publishing at kdp.amazon.com. If you've got an Amazon account, you won't actually have to sign up again. You can just use that account, and you're going to upload the book. Now, I actually received a message from iWriter, and let me see if I can put it on the screen for you. I've copied and pasted it here. And it said, I've undertaken your project on vegetable gardening. If possible, send me more instructions on the area you need extensively covered. Thanks in advance. And it was actually like only a few minutes after I put the project on. So that's really good. So this project has been taken. Okay. Now what I did was I wrote back to him and said, please can you create a TOC for me, a table of content for me. So he will get back to me and give me a table of content, and then I can get that back to him pretty quickly. So as you can see, we're already on the way. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy gets back to me very quickly. And it just shows how easy it is to get a book written and on Amazon and selling very quickly. So here we are in KDP. I've simply clicked on add a title. Now this is how I always upload a book at the beginning. Enroll this book in KDP Select. It's a bit difficult to go through everything about KDP Select. Do a search on Google to find out more about KDP Select if you want to, but definitely for your first book, just do enroll. Now book name, I'll choose something a bit more exciting than this, but let's say vegetable gardening. Subtitle, I generally leave how it is. Now what I often do is put hyphen or dash, I think it's called in America, and then something which is a bit more keywordy. So I could say gardening tips, tricks, and gardening tips and tricks, let's say. I don't often use a subtitle. Publisher, I just leave. Add contributors. You have to do this. I'm going to put an author. Let's call it myself for argument's sake. English, probably you're going to leave as English. Publication date, I just leave. Description, this is the description. What else do we need? I say this is not a public domain work. Add categories, you need to go in here and choose some categories. So there's a category which is gardening. So you're going to try and find something which is close to what you're doing. I'm going to choose fruit and vegetables. If you can find two categories which are in different main categories, then you may want to do that as well, as it means you'll have more reach of people. I'm just doing this fairly quickly, so click on save. Search keywords. Now, what Amazon tells you to do is not actually choose keywords that you've put in a title or made clear in the description, as it already knows about those. So let's choose some other: horticulture, vegetable gardening, fruit gardening. I'm just going to say etc. You should always use 7 because hey, why not? Hopefully you will have created a cover. You put browse for image. I'm just going to choose a cover I've done before for something else. So I've uploaded the cover. Obviously there's no relation to this and vegetables, because I'm just using an example at the moment. This is actually for a book which I never got done, but got the cover done. It's now uploading my book file as well, and I just want to wait until this is done because I want to show you what happens when that is uploaded. Just checking I've put everything else in that I need to, and it now says upload and conversion successful. Okay, so what I'd always advise you to do is to preview the book, because it may actually look very different from what you thought it may have done. Now this is just some sample text, so it doesn't really matter. It's actually some countries of just a random Word document, but you'll often see things here which you kind of didn't realize look like that on Kindle, so definitely worth taking a look at that. It'll also tell you if there's spelling mistakes. So let's click on save and continue. On the next screen, unless in very specific cases, leave it as worldwide rights. Now what I do is, as soon as I publish a book, I put it on 35% royalty at 99 cents. Now once I've got the reviews which I want and it started selling and going up the ranks, I will actually change it to $2.99. The reason is because at 99 cents you get 35% royalty, which is approximately 35 cents. However, if I was to put that at $2.99, I'd be able to get 70% royalty, so I'll get approximately 6 times the amount of money for each book sold. So that's it. I'm going to allow lending for this book. What that means is that people can also borrow the book, and I get paid, I think at the moment it's around $2 every time that someone borrows a book. You click on, by clicking save and publish now, I confirm, and you click on save and publish. Now I'm not actually going to do that because I'm going to save it as draft, because this isn't a real book which I'm putting up. This is just for the purpose of this video. Now it generally takes about 12 hours to be published on Amazon, and then approximately 24 hours to go live and be sold on Kindle. I mean, how easy is this? You know, you follow everything I did in this video and you'll literally have a book on Kindle really quickly and selling out there, so that literally millions of people can have the opportunity to buy your book. I find it very exciting. I hope you do as well. The first thing that you should do when your book is published, and this is what I do every single time, is buy a copy myself. I take a look through it, check that everything is okay. Not only that, what it means is as soon as you've made a sale, Amazon will actually add more information on that book page. For example, it will give it a rank. It'll give it a rank for different categories as well. So it's worth doing that. Now, the next thing that you must do is to get reviews. Now, I say at minimum you should get 5 reviews at the beginning when you publish a book. Now, how can you get those reviews? Never ever write a review yourself. Never ever go to Fiverr or pay someone else to write a review for you. It's an really easy way to get banned from Amazon, and you just don't want to do that. It's not worth it. They'll be deleted within hours. Just do not buy reviews, whatever you do. That's my big piece of advice. What you can do is, if you have a list, email out to your list and ask for them. You can ask your friends, ask your family, ask your Facebook friends, whatever it is, to buy the book and leave a review from you. Now, there's a lot of other ways to get reviews as well, and there's a lot of review sites and a lot of Facebook groups where people review your sites. So look around on the internet, do some search for how to get to reviews, but you must get reviews, at least 5 right at the beginning. Once you've got the 5 reviews, what you'll then want to do is to increase your price to at least $2.99. As I mentioned just before, the difference between 35% at 99 cents and 70% royalties at $3 is just massive. It's almost impossible to make a lot of money from the book sales alone when you're only getting 35 cents a copy sold. You'll have to sell 1,000. If you sold 1,000 copies, you'll make $350. If you sold 1,000 copies at $2.99, you'll make $2,000. Now, there's a big difference in that. At $2.99, you'd only have to sell 50 copies, which is really achievable to make $100 a month. So the first thing I suggest is, once you've got those reviews, to increase your price. The other thing I suggest that you do, and this is simply to make yourself a lot more money, is to think about your back end. Now, let me show you an example of a back end which I've had on one of my earlier books, and that's a WordPress book. So you got terms and conditions, you got an introduction, and then I've offered videos to accompany this book if someone goes to the URL. So let's have a look what happens if they go to the URL. There's going to be probably what you've seen before. It's very, very simple. It's a squeeze page. They put in their name and address, and they get access to the full video recordings where they're actually guided through different aspects of WordPress. What happens then? They are on my list, and that means that I can send them different offers. I like to try and sell them short reports just for a few dollars here and there, and they get into my funnel. And this is an excellent way to make additional money from your sales of your Kindle books. There's a lot of ways where you can make money on the back end, and often you see people actually just pricing their book at 99 cents because they know that they're going to make a lot more money on the back end than they do from the sale of the book themselves. So by pricing it low and making a lot more sales, they're going to get people on their list that they can mail and make a lot more money. Some of my books make multiple times what I make on the Kindle book on the back end than on the sale of the book itself. I generally, and this is just a personal thing, I generally don't price my book at 99 cents because I also like to actually make money on the front end as well. But it's really whatever works for you. Now, we're coming towards the end of this video, but what I want to do before I go is to show you kind of what is next. And there's a number of things you can do next. Firstly, you can create another book in the same series, and you'll already have your fans. You'll already have a list of people, in fact, if you do what I said, that you can tell about this new book which you have out. So you have immediate sales. Not only that, but you can create an audio version which you can sell on Amazon. You can create a physical version which you can sell on CreateSpace, and that's a whole other video, but that can make yourself a lot of money as well. In fact, there's many ways which you can take this and make more money from the book itself. For example, you can translate it into other languages. You can create an upsell, you can create your funnel more. So there's a lot more ways than just selling the front-end book yourself where you can make more money. Now, as I said at the beginning of this video, Kindle is an incredible way to make money. I hope you've seen from this video that you can make money from Kindle even if you can't write a word yourself. You can outsource absolutely everything, and what I consider pretty cheaply. If you're making $100 a month per book, you have 20 books, or if you're making $100 an average per month, that's $2,000. And you need to think how you can rinse and repeat, scale. This is the perfect business for doing this. I'm not selling you anything at all on this video, but I'm just selling you the idea, and I really hope you see this and feel able to do this from watching this video. Is go out there, write a book yourself, have a book written for you, upload it to Amazon and start making those sales. Because when you're making money from your book in the next year, the next few years as well, you'll be very happy that you started now. So that's really the main message for my video, is get out there, get a book written, get the cover done, get some reviews, upload it to Amazon, start selling on Kindle and start making money. I really want to thank you very much for watching this video. This is Ben Schaffer. I really enjoyed making this video. There's obviously a lot more information which I could tell you, and I may do in the future, but for the moment, follow everything in this video. You really do have the step-by-step guide to making money from Amazon. Thank you very much for watching. Ben Schaffer, over and out.